All right, let's talk about NXT. The first Tuesday NXT, April the 13th, 2021. This was a good show. There was some nice little surprises. We set up some things for the future. So I can't wait to get into it. So we start the show with a promo from Intelligent Monster Karrion Cross, who says, time always comes full circle. It was only a matter of time before he got the title back. Finn Balor's one of the best ever, but he believes his emotions are a weakness. But Cross has managed to master his emotions as he controls everything around him. And that, he's going to rule NXT until he says so. And that some people say that there's only one place to go once you're at the top, and that's down. But he says no one is going to stop him or out wrestle him or outwork him. And that he's hungry and wants the hungriest locker room in WWE to step up. So it was a great promo. I expected somebody to come out there and make a challenge out front just to set the stakes and say, I'm next. Or at least, give somebody just something to dance, give them a temporary dance partner to mess around with. The fact that they didn't do it means that they're probably going to be going with Cross in the long term for like quite a while, which means he's probably about to go in the broom closet for a few weeks. And it's probably going to be like, almost a month maybe before he shows back up. He's going to start doing those short 30-second promos where he basically just talks and that's it. But this was good. I like that he's talking more, showing a little bit more personality. I have an idea for Cross, but I will get to that near the end. All right, so the first match was for the Tag Team Championship, MSK versus Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. Obviously, Drake Maverick and Killian Dane were not going to win. There was this match was okay. MSK they seem very Kids Next Door to me. Like, have you ever seen that stupid cartoon Kid Next Door or Ed, Ed and Eddie? Like, every time I see them, I just think Nickelodeon cartoons. And they wear like the green and the black and the white, the DX colors. They're doing Bronco Busters and stuff. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But they won the match with their blockbuster finish. Wasn't a bad match. It was pretty good, actually. Maverick and Dane have been in a funk for a long time. I still keep thinking that Drake Maverick is a huge missed opportunity for that Cruiserweight division, especially with the change that they've made now. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But then afterwards, Alexander Wolf distracted Killian Dane. Basically, he just kind of saddled him, just kind of stood next to him and didn't say much of anything. He's sort of the Silver Surfer. Like I say, he's the guy who lets you know something bad's about to happen. So when Alexander Wolf appears, bad things are about to take place. So he didn't touch Killian Dane, at least not initially. He just got his attention as Drake Maverick, who's the one who got pinned, was laying out. And then Eichner and Bartel jumped on from behind. And so we're going back to this story. They kind of put pause on it so they could do TakeOver and all that type of stuff. And then they pushed play again. Similarly, they did the same thing with Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher in this episode, which is strange. Like, they just randomly push pause on a lot of these feuds and then decided to go back to them later. Anyway, later in the show, Imperium, or Walter, did a promo where basically he talked about being the most dominant champion in WWE, being the most dominant faction in WWE. They've been running WWE for over a year. And that Imperium is going to expand, and Imperium is going to grow, and people are going to learn what they mean when they say the mat is sacred. So does this mean that Killian Dane will likely be forcefully joining Imperium? Is they gonna start Borging people? If you have seen Star Trek, you know what the Borg is. That you become part of the hive mind. I think Imperium is not quite the hive mind, considering they each have individualized roles. But this is something that's pretty sweet, and this where I come in with my idea. I think you do Cross Walter, and I think you probably do it some point next year, I think that you could probably get away with that as being a title for title rematch at TakeOver, when probably they may be full crowds next year. I don't know what the percentage was for the crowds this year, but if there's like a full crowd allowed next year, I think you do Cross Walter title for title. And yes, I do believe you should have both of them hold the title for the rest of the year. NXT isn't there. There's no rush. There's no rush with NXT. Walter's not moving to the United States and staying here full time, so ultimately he can still wrestle people from NXT UK. He's pretty much beating everybody anyway, but they're going to keep adding new people anyway. So, and then Cross, you could take your time, 3 or 4 contenders. That's cool. Throughout the year, give him a big quarterly match, and that's about it. I think you could get away with it. You could have one guy, both of them are, well, Walter is not, technically he's not undefeated. He's lost a tag team match. He actually got pinned in that tag team match too. So it wasn't that he just lost the match, like Cross lost the match in a tag team match. He literally got pinned. But both men are pretty much undefeated in singles matches. Both are, monsters in their division. I think you should maybe think about doing that match. I know they're both heels, but Cross can easily be turned babyface. And I think that's the match that I think a lot of people would salivate over. Walter and Cross. Why not? Why not pencil that in for TakeOver WrestleMania next year? I don't see why not. All right. So Robert Stone was trying to get Aaliyah a tag team championship match. He was going to William Regal's office. For no reason, he was wearing like weird gloves, like shiny Michael Jackson gloves. Then he got hemmed up, and Mercedes Martinez wanted the rest of her money. It's been like 3 weeks. It's been like 3 weeks. So she comes in ready to break his legs and starts choking Aaliyah and demanding her money. So then Jesse Kamea interrupts and is like, well, look, no, we're not doing that. I'm back here now. I guess she might have had the Rona, or she might have got hurt or something like that, but she's back now, and she wants Mercedes Martinez. She wants a piece of her ass. So Mercedes Martinez agreed to the match, and then she beat Jesse Kamea's ass in the match. Who beat her with the white noise. Then she basically robbed Robert Stone on TV. After she beat Jesse Kamea, he ran off. She chased him down, caught him, hemmed him up against the wall, and took like wads of cash out of his hand in pockets. Then she made it clear by going to the announce table and saying that, Raquel Gonzales, she congratulated Raquel Gonzales and said, look, congratulations, but I'm coming for you. I'm coming. And so then later in the episode also, we got Mercedes Martinez she confronted Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark is talking about all the time she spent training in Las Vegas and struggling trying to be an independent wrestler. That old shit where all they talk about is my dream, how hard I worked so hard, my work ethic, I worked so hard, my dream. And then she came in and basically called Zoe Stark a rookie and said, you don't deserve to be anywhere near the title. I'm the top contender, and you may have just gotten your first win on TakeOver, but, nobody gets a shot before me. And Zoe Stark was like, we'll see. And they kind of implied they will fight next week, which sounds fun. I really like the idea of Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez. I think that sounds badass. That's a great first opponent for Raquel Gonzalez because Mercedes Martinez is a little bit older. She's more experienced than Raquel Gonzalez. She could teach her a lot, and Mercedes Martinez she speaks Spanish and she's bigger, just like Raquel is bigger. There's a lot of similarities between the two. The major difference being age, of course. Mercedes Martinez, I believe, is somewhere in the neighborhood of 40. So you have this good dynamic that they could play off of, and that's fun. I like that idea that you kind of have to still train the champion. Like she's in the spot, but she's got to earn the spot. Like well, I guess you could say she earned it, but now she's got to really, it's like John Cena, where you put him in the spot, now he has to grind it out. Now there's the refinement. That's when this starts to come in. So they showed a video package about Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, the storyline, the match, and everything. And they showed some security footage of Adam Cole basically cussing Kyle O'Reilly. He just cussing him like a sailor, saying he's fucking dead and he's an asshole and all this type of stuff. And Kyle O'Reilly's just sitting on his stretcher, comatose, basically, as Adam Cole is stretched out, neck brace and everything, just going off, just cussing and acting stupid. I thought it was a nice little touch to finish the feud, and I guess the feud is not over. Triple H did say he suggests we watch NXT on Tuesday to see if what was going to happen with Adam Cole. So they did announce that Kyle O'Reilly is coming back. He will be back on the 20th, which is next week. But they didn't state whether, Adam Cole was going to be there or not. But, there's an opportunity for him to be there. I'm guessing there's more that could happen. And also in Undisputed Era news, Roderick Strong turned in some paperwork and basically turned in his resignation, said that he's done. He was there with his wife, and Regal says, hey, outside of your antic with the Undisputed Era, you've been a model performer. You're welcome back in NXT anytime. And that would be an interesting way for a guy to leave. Would Roderick Strong be the first guy to officially announce that he's leaving NXT? Instead of people just leaving and popping up somewhere. And it's the crazy thing is, Raw has already happened. So it's going to be basically a question of is he going to show up on SmackDown. But here's my thing. I don't think he's leaving NXT. I think he's changing his performance. When he says, I'm done, I'm guessing he's going to be, I'm done being that Roderick Strong. Whatever he was before, he's done with the Undisputed Era. He's done being that version of Roderick Strong. He's probably going to come back in a couple of weeks as a new, different Roderick Strong. Probably more aggressive, probably more focused. Similar to how Dean Malenko got frustrated and called, I think he called, was it Dean Malenko? I'm pretty sure Vader did it too. He called himself a big fat piece of shit. And then, oh boy, that was rough. Oh, that was rough. Those were rough days for Vader, man. But I don't think Roderick Strong is going to leave NXT. His wife has now been introduced into the storyline, and she's been in NXT forever. Roderick Strong has been in NXT for at least 4 years. But remember, they did this really big storyline between him and Robert Roode. There was an excellent storyline between him and Robert Roode. I suggest you go back and watch it if you're new to NXT and you basically just started watching it, in 2019 or when it came on TV or whatever. Go back, because NXT to me was at its best, 2016, 2017, right? The days where Black was there, McIntyre was there, Strong was there, and just a little bit before that was the Rude days, when Rude and Nakamura and Joe, that's kind of when they started changing a little bit how NXT was booking. Because usually guy get one title run, he's losing. He probably wrestled a couple of more matches, then he was gone. But then after you had Joe and all those guys, they would lose his title and they would stick around a little bit longer. But now guys don't leave. But I think this Adam Cole, Roderick Strong comes from that class, that 2016, 2017 era. Where he's been here in NXT that long, that he challenged Robert Roode for the NXT title. And that match was fantastic. That whole storyline was great. I strongly suggest, no pun intended, I strongly suggest people go back and watch that feud. You can watch the matches in the shows leading up to the feud, but the match itself, very good, and the storyline going into it was also very good. And to be quite honest, when he didn't win it there, I figured Roderick Strong was never going to win it, if we're being honest. But now I think that he's probably going to be one of the top contenders for a Cross when he returns. I don't think he's going to go to SmackDown or Raw. I think he's just going to go and change his persona and do something different and come back new. So there was a promo from The Way Johnny Gargano and company. And basically they complained that William Regal was trying to stick it to them again, and that but they're surely going to win and teach those people how to handle business. And everybody just kept saying some variation of "we're going to handle business." With Indy Hartwell talking about she hopes she can get in the ring with Dexter Lumis so she can handle her business. So let's just talk about that match. The main event was a 8-person tag. It was Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, and Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, and Austin Theory. Now, this match did upset me because we were told men wrestle men, women wrestle women, and yet we saw women hitting men, and at least on more than one occasion. You had a situation where Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart was punching Johnny Gargano. Look, Johnny Gargano was the same size as those women, but still, he's not going to be able to retaliate. I don't see why they get to take free shots. Not conversely. Furthermore, you had Candice LeRae. She did a tope through the ropes and DDT Dexter Lumis on the floor, and I was just kind of like, huh? Like, she's 22 pounds. You should have been able to be like, no. But the real story around this match was Indy Hartwell trying to flirt with Dexter Lumis. You know, when Dexter Lumis was get beaten up Austin Theory, he wanted to tag out, and Indy Hartwell really wanted to tag in. Like, she kept trying to tag him in, and he ended up tagging Candice instead. But then the story came to a head as they kind of flirted off and on. Like, there was a point when she was standing on the ring apron, and she kind of batted her eyes at him and, you know, twisted her hair and all that type of stuff. And that kind of got his attention. Like, he seemed a little amused. And then it was at a point where he had Johnny Gargano in the silence finisher, and Indy Hartwell was behind him, and she could have kicked him to, you know, break the hold. But she couldn't bring herself to do it. Like, it wasn't melodrama, though. It was comedy. Like, seemed like she wanted to kick him in the back of the head, but she was like, oh, no, I can't do that. So then she just took this huge back bump. It made like a ton of noise. And then when Dexter Lumis turned around and saw her down, he let the hold go on his own, and then crawled over to her and took her like Sleeping Beauty in his arms. And Lord knows what the hell he was about to do. But then Austin Theory showed up, kicked him in the head. So then after Austin Theory kicked him in the head, Indy Hartwell was frustrated because he's cock blocking. Or muff blocking? Cock blocking. Let's just keep it like that. He's cock blocking. So she frustratedly threw Austin Theory over the top rope, and then once again took a huge bump. And Dexter Lumis ended up carrying her away as she, you know, pulled a Sherry and pretended to be hurt so that Dexter Lumis could save her. And of course, you know, he was foolishly did so, and she kind of winked at the camera and did like thumbs up and everything. So it was silly, you know, but Indy Hartwell was like super silly in this match. I really didn't pay much attention to anybody else because I was kind of like, this match is for nothing, you know. Like, there were so many matches before this that were good, and I'm kind of tired of the Garganos. I'm kind of tired of the men getting beat up by women. That shit weird, you know. But Bronson Reed pinned Austin Theory with a splash from the top rope, which was fine. He doesn't get his win back because he didn't beat Johnny Gargano, but I guess they're sticking Bronson Reed with the rest of them. Sticking with Bronson Reed and Gargano going forward, which is, I don't see why we do that. But, I mean, if you're going to do it, a long-term feud, you should probably not have the match where one of the guys lose, you know. But the way lost again, I don't care, you know, whatever. So let's go back to back in order for the show. Swerve. We got Swerve promo where Swerve talked about, hey, had a star-making performance at NXT TakeOver, you know, even in a loss, and that he's proven that he's just different. You know, that's his thing now. I'm just different. I don't know what that means. Everyone's different. That's one of those things where slang doesn't always make sense because he's like, I'm just different. I'm built different. Like, everybody is. What the fuck? Anyway, he wants to get rid of Leon Ruff, and that's his whole thing for tonight. that when he gets his hands on Leon Ruff tonight, it's over. It's done. Leon's going to be done. So then they have a hell of a match on this show. Leon Ruff and Swerve. They kicked ass, man. They did really good. And Leon Ruff was more aggressive than usual. He was angrier than usual. And he almost, he was trying to make Swerve respect him. And probably one of the bigger moves of this match was the top rope Hurricane Rana, which was nuts. It was nuts. These guys really went in there and worked it out. And Swerve wins. And we have what seems like a definitive feud-ending match where it felt like, okay, there was no real chicanery behind Swerve winning. It wasn't like he pulled tights or anything. He hit his finish and that was it. After the match, Swerve was going to cut a promo. This is a little bit later. Swerve was going to cut a promo to talk about, whether he was done with Leon Ruff. And he had pretty much said he was done with Leon Ruff already. But out of nowhere, here comes Leon. Leon attacked him, slammed him up against the lockers and was going to run him over with a box and says that, this thing is over when I say it's over. Like, we're not done. Like, he's pissed. And I like this. I like this new Leon Ruff. He's still very skinny, though. Like, I'm glad Swerve won. Swerve needed to win. Swerve needs wins. He needs to, build some momentum. Leon Ruff's just unfortunate that he had to take the loss until he grows into his body. I don't know what more you can do. Like, he's really skinny. Like, he's just really damn skinny. But this match was good. This feud is probably going to continue. I wonder where we're going with it. But I'm interested. And I'm interested in both of these guys. They're underutilized talents. As long as I get to see more of them, I'm good. So then we get, going back in order. Got to go back in time. And we go into the Cruiserweight Championship. So Santos Escobar, now freshly minted the Cruiserweight Champion, undisputed Cruiserweight Champion. He decides he's going to, talk and then issue an open challenge. So he's, talks about how he was, a year ago, he won the Cruiserweight title or whatever. And he became the champion of a forgotten division. And he took it from being forgotten to prime time to main events. And he has proven that he is the emperor of Lucha Libre, a champion everywhere that he goes, like his father was, like his son will be. And I love that line. That line it hit me. Like it felt real, like it's generational greatness. And this was dope. And then before he even finished his promo, Kushida came out. And Kushida was wearing trunks this time. Yeah, he'd been wrestling in jeans for a long time. It was really weird that he was wrestling in jeans and in gym shoes. So he comes out in regular wrestling gear this time. And these two then proceed to slay. They had an awesome match. I love this match. Two of my favorite guys. I would have wished they could have put some build on it, which would have made it feel like a bigger moment. But I think they was going for the shock value. And Kushida rolls up Escobar and pins him for the Cruiserweight title. Kushida was excited. Escobar was fuming. He was pissed because fresh off of becoming the freshly minted, undisputed Cruiserweight champion, he loses it. But I'm not mad because I kind of saw this coming. When I saw open challenge, I was like, he's probably going to lose. Now, the reason it would make sense for him to lose because now he's done everything that he can do as a Cruiserweight champion. So like what's left for him to do? Now he's another performer that you can send up the card. Either you could send him to SmackDown or Raw, or you could send him up to wrestle Karrion Kross. He doesn't have to be stuck in the Cruiserweight division. He's built up the division. Good. Now let's let somebody else take it to the next level. And Kushida's the guy to do that. And I'm glad Kushida finally got a push, for fuck's sake. It's been so long since Kushida has gotten anything in NXT. He's been in purgatory for 2 years. He has been in NXT doing jobs and big matches for 2 years. He even got thrown in the garbage once by Adam Cole. It was ridiculous. Okay? It was ridiculous. But it all built up to this moment. Now, again, I wish Kushida would have had some momentum. He's coming fresh off of losing to Pete Dunne. So it was kind of like if you were going to like a traditional ranking system or anything like that, he wouldn't even been on the list. He just lost to another guy who's basically a cruiserweight. So that wasn't the best, but Chris Jericho said this on the Broken Skull sessions that WWE does this weird thing where instead of building you up to make you champion, they crush you, and then you're inflated like a like a water balloon. Like, oh, now you're the champion after weeks and weeks of getting beat. You're the champion now. Like they did it with Leon Ruff too. Like he was a job guy who just happened to win the North American title, and then he went back to being a job guy. Now he's kind of got some momentum again. It's like what the like that doesn't make sense. That's one of those senseless things that WWE does that I don't like. See, when they do things right, more people are excited. When they do things for shock value, it's weird, right? It doesn't make any sense for you to beat Kushida. If you're gonna get a title to him, he probably should have beat Pete Dunne, and then he could have been like, he's got momentum. But maybe that's something we can hammer that out somewhere else. Well, anyway, after Kushida won, I was really excited. I was high on this show after that. Like the show was good up until this point, and then I was like, oh shit, Kushida won. Yes, finally we get my man's get something. Finally, his whole and it's just a cruiserweight title, but it's an opportunity. It's something. It's them telling him, hey, we got you in our minds. You're our new ace in this division. Escobar's probably going to go away, go do something else. You're going to be our guy. So it didn't to prove that point. They had him in the trainer's room after he won the title. William Regal came over and congratulated him, saying, "Hey, you've been here for 2 years. I know we've seen you struggling, but now you seem to caught your stride or whatever." And then Jordan Devlin showed up, and Jordan Devlin says, "Hey, you beat Escobar. Escobar won a ladder match against me, but that didn't prove that he was a better wrestler just because he can climb a ladder faster than I can. I'm the best wrestler in this division. But, the travel guys are on your side. I have to go back to Ireland. But when I come back, it's going to be you and me." And Kushida was like, anytime. So I'm like, okay, cool. All right, sweet. We got some cruiserweight storylines going here. Because you got Escobar, whatever they're going to do with him. You got Kushida, new champion. You got Jordan Devlin probably going back over to England to do whatever he was doing over there. But you also still got Swerve and Leon Ruff, who are both also cruiserweights. And you also still got Pete Dunne, who is saying like, hey, I'm still the best wrestler. I'm the best technical wrestler, and nobody can prove me wrong. So if they're going to prove me wrong, then I think I'm going to go back to winning championships. And I was like, whatever. What title are you going to fight for? I'm like, I guess he could fight Gargano, I guess. But that's more like a takeover match. And I would actually be able to want to see that. But not as it is now, not because they're both heels. That wouldn't make any sense. So Escobar and Kushida was excellent. To me, it was the match of the night. It was very good. So then we get a promo from Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa is basically saying like, hey, life has a way of testing us. And we've passed. I think we've passed those tests. Imperium tested our will and our loyalty. The Dusty Classic tested our strength as partners. But we didn't win every fight, but we passed every test. And then Timothy Thatcher, who is magically back without any sort of pomp and circumstance, he just was there. And basically he's like, okay, we got a new NXT champion. We got new NXT tag team champions. Which is the path we should choose? And, he said, but I believe in finishing what you start. And Ciampa kind of nodded and said, all right, MSK, we're coming. And I'm like, okay, cool. I like that. Sort of the grizzled old veterans versus MSK. I like that idea. I really hate that the Grizzled Young veterans have disappeared. I hate that, but maybe we'll see them fight Thatcher and Ciampa. That ought to be fun as shit. I think didn't they have a match already? I don't know. I don't want to stress my brain thinking too much about it, but that sounds like it's going to be really fun. All right, so the last segment I'm probably going to cover, because this is the last segment that I think I haven't covered, was Raquel Gonzales and her championship address. So Raquel Gonzales comes out, and this time she cuts another babyface promo. She is announced by Dakota Kai, and Dakota Kai is real excited for Raquel Gonzales, and she cuts this promo about how a year and a half ago she came to NXT and she wasn't quite ready, and she felt like she embarrassed herself. And then she told herself she was never going to be embarrassed again. So she went, she trained hard, and she studied hard, and she did everything she could do, lifted more, got bigger, got better. And the only person who really believed in her was Dakota Kai. And that, she thanked Dakota Kai for being in her corner all the time and believing in her. And then we got the debut of Frankie Monet, aka Taya Valkyrie, with this little bitty dog of hers. And this was very strange. This was very strange because there was kind of a crowd there, and they were kind of doing their own thing. They weren't, just bots in the crowd chanting NXT randomly. There was an odd silence for Taya Valkyrie, and there's some people knew who she was, and it was when she says, "I'm la Wera Loca," somebody was chanting like "Wera Loca," but he's like one guy by himself. It's like it's like he was in his living room, like "Wera Loca, Wera Loca." I saw NXT, NXT, NXT. Other people were just kind of not really all that excited about it. It was kind of like, huh? But she basically says that, hey, her theme song though. Let's pause. Her theme song kept saying some shit like bad and bougie and bad. I was kind of like, what the fuck is this? What is this? This is horrible. Horrible. And this character that she's created, Frankie Monet, I have no idea what it is. I was listening to her promo, and she's basically saying like now that she's on NXT, things are going to get flashier, more bougier, and a lot better. The best division in WWE is going to in the world, whatever. And I was like, I am not thrilled with this promo. Not thrilled. I was not thrilled. I was not impressed with Taya Valkyrie's promo. And, so basically, Raquel Gonzales, they traded some Spanish. I don't really know, but I guess from the context clues, it wasn't really all that. It wasn't nice what she said she was going to stick Frankie Monet's dog. I'm guessing she meant ass. But anyway, I was not thrilled with that. I really wasn't. I kind of think it was weird. I don't know. It felt like she was trying to play a character instead of just being herself. And it was odd. But I'm going to give it some time. It was an awkward debut. We're going to give it a minute. Anyway, right after Frankie Monet left the ring because she was trying to avoid physical confrontation with Raquel Gonzales, we just get randomly Rhea Ripley's music starts blasting, and I'm like, oh, what is this? And Dakota Kai kind of stepped aside, and Rhea Ripley got in the ring, and she looked at her belt, and she looked at Raquel's belt, and then they clanked belt like the Hardy Boys. I was like, what is this? And they started hugging, and I was like, oh, they're friends. And then you hear Bianca Belair's music playing. And I'm like, oh, okay. There's some bullshit in the air, okay? What's going on here now? So she gets in the ring, and they all three of them are hugging. And then like this picture of them are in the back, and it's like, oh, they were friends in developmental. Now all three of them are champions, the best in the world. And I was like, okay, I get it. It's Triple H stunting on us. Basically like, hey, y'all have said I don't do anything in NXT. Y'all say I can't hire people. Y'all saying I don't make stars. Voila, motherfucker. That's basically the Triple H like, hey, I keep seeing all these articles about me not making stars. One of them made it in WrestleMania. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I thought it was a decent moment. It was, they were friends. We knew this. It wasn't like it was new because Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzales, when they were feuding, it was more of a, friends turned rivals kind of thing. And now it's almost like Rhea Ripley came out there and was happy for her friend. Even because, she can be happy for her friend because she has success of her own. It's not like Rhea Ripley lost at WrestleMania and then she showed up happy for Raquel Gonzalez. Because then you could be like, okay, well, she's jealous. In this situation, everybody is happy for each other's success because they all have success. It's easier for you to be happy about your friend's success when you're successful too. The only problem I have with this is that Rhea Ripley is supposed to be a heel. On Raw, she's portrayed as a heel. So for her to go to NXT and basically turn babyface was strange. But maybe that was the intention. Because maybe in her feud, the heel is going to be Charlotte. So it was okay. I thought it was a good segment. I thought it was fun. It was cute. Let's put it like that. Which of course sometimes, cute shouldn't be on wrestling, but it's basically Triple H saying this is the legacy of NXT. This is years of hard work. Bianca Belair was in the system for 4 or 5 years. Rhea Ripley's been in the system 4 or 5 years. Raquel Gonzalez has been in the system probably 2 or 3 years, depending on whether you count Evolve. So these are his hires. These are his babies, essentially. And he's always going to be super proud of, especially the women's division that he put together. And you know what? I can't be mad at it. It is what it is. And I think that this is an apropos place to cap off NXT. So this was a good show. The matches were dope. Most of the promos were pretty good. The only promos I really didn't care for was Taya's, and she make her debut, which I felt really bad for because I was like, people don't know who she is. She almost got like a Tito Ortiz kind of response, where some people were kind of like, oh, okay. Other people were kind of like, who? What? But it was strange. Oh, also, Saray will be debuting next week. So we're going to have back-to-back weeks of debuts in the NXT women's division. And at this point, dog, they might as well just make NXT a women's show. Because I don't see any men debuting anytime soon. What was the last guy to debut? LA Knight, and he's already losing. So, I don't know, man. But, hey, Zoe Stark went through her jobby phase too. They're bringing in people who are a little bit older now. I know Saray is like 20 because they start real young in Japan. They start like 14, 12 or whatever. So she's like real experienced, but she's only like 20, 21 years old. So she ought to be a fresh injection of energy. But they're starting to bring in a lot of older talent in NXT and NXT UK. Like they brought in Miko Satomura. She's well over 40. And now they're, bringing in Taya, who's somewhere near 40. And Zoe Stark is also near 40. And so is Mercedes Martinez. So they have this wonderful crop of young talent that they're building up. And then they also have some older talent who could, mentor. Like the women's division in NXT is probably the best division, period, in the world. Especially it's one of the best booked, that's for sure. And the tag team titles really help because it elevates other women, and it's not just, leaning so heavily on the one title. So the NXT women's division has been, the shit, and he deserves credit for it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you enjoy Tuesday NXT? That's the research question. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video. Go to the description, send cash via the Cash App if you enjoy what I do. If you really enjoy what I do and you want to put me on the payroll, basically just hit up subscribe to the channel via subscribe star, $5 a month. And you can also follow me on Twitter, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you all later.